So in the previous video, we have seen how to create boxes and how to put stuff in it, and even how to apply actions to transform the things we have in our boxes, how to transform text, for example. So that's what I say here. Just to recap, we have learned how to create boxes specializing for text, or for example for integers, which is round numbers. But the good news is that we are not obliged to have only simple text or simple numbers in our boxes. We can have any object we want. So this is two good news. The first one is that we can create any kinds of objects and put them in the boxes we create, and apply actions on them. These actions, we can define them, we can create or invent them. That's how we get amazing apps. But the other good news is that we are not obliged to create all these things ourselves. All the programmers of the world have already created many objects, and they often make them available for free. So for example, Codename1, the tool we are using to build our apps, it's free. The code that they have written, so the objects, everything, we can use it. That's the plugin that we downloaded at the beginning. At the beginning, it was full of these objects that we can just use, to build a screen for our app, and to, what do I say, yeah, to have any action that a mobile app needs. We don't have to create that. We just have to pick it and use it. So that's what we're gonna do in this tutorial. So how do we use these objects? Let's take the example of a label. You remember a label in the designer of Codename1? In a theme.res, we add labels to our screen. Well, how do we use them in code? It's just as we've seen in the previous tutorial. You start by creating a box. So here I call it my text, because that's a box where we will store a label. And we have to say, just like before, that it's a box specializing in containing some things. And here it's a box that can only contain labels. So you write label before the name of your box. Again, don't be confused, right? I do that in 2 steps, but actually if you write that alone, it won't work. It's just to show you very slowly the name, and then before the name you should put the name of the object that the box can store, but you should write that. You should not write that alone. It would be a bug. You should always, when you create a box, do it this way. So that's it. You just created a box that will contain labels. How do you put a label into the box? This is where it's a bit different from strings and integers. Have a look with me. You have to you put the name of your box here, you put equal, and on the right you put what's gonna go inside the box. And how do you do it? You write new, and then you write the name of your object. So here we want to put a label in this box, and you don't forget the brackets, because in some cases we're gonna put some stuff in it, but here it's just empty. Don't forget the uppercase initial. It's capital L, right? But that's it. So this is how you create a label and you put it in a box. That's really simple. And with that, you're gonna be able to change the text of the label and put it on screen, and maybe refresh the text when the user makes an action. We are really ready to go. So that's it. That's how you create boxes where you put new kinds of objects. I just want to show you another example. Let's say you want to create a new screen for your app. Your app should have several screens, I guess, several screens. How do you do that? You create a box, you call it My Screen, for example, and you should say that it's a box specializing in containing screens. And maybe I say that in other tutorials, but in Codename 1, they don't say screens. They say, they call it a form, but the form is just a screen. Anyway, so you create your box, you give it a name, and you say it's a box containing screens. Don't forget the capital F. And as always, you close with a semicolon. In this box that you created, just put a new screen. And just like before, you write new, you write form, don't forget the capital F, you open and close the parentheses and semicolon. That's it, you have a screen in your box. And as I said in the previous tutorial, the objects, they have actions with them. So the guys from Codename 1, they have created screens, objects, with many actions for them. And so one action that we really like about screens is that this screen should appear on the phone, right? For example, when the user has taken some action, you would like the screen to change, to go from one screen to another. How do you do that? It's so easy. In the code, you just take the box where your screen is stored, you put a dot to add an action, and a menu with all possible actions open. It's actually a very long menu, but in this menu, whoops, you should find an action called show, and you finish with the semicolon. And when this will happen, the screen of your user will change, and this screen will happen, will be displayed. So I think that's it. Yeah, that's what I just said, and that's it. Yeah. Thank you for this tutorial. I hope it's very clear. The next one is the last tutorial to learn how to code, and after that we will be able to create a real amazing app just with the 3 tutorials. So please have revised this tutorial a bit to really get into it, and see you in the next tutorial.